Blackboard. Yesterday I went through and I put out the next couple of weeks worth of materials so that if anybody wants to work ahead, they can. The assignments are posted, the page numbers are posted, and any quizzes are posted for the next couple of weeks if you want to start working ahead on those. I figured with the cold weather, some of you might be stuck inside and have extra free time, so I put it out there just to give you something to do if you're looking for something to occupy your time while you're stuck inside in the cold here. So anyway, yesterday we left off, we were talking about this conversion between decimal degrees and degrees, minutes, and seconds for our angles. If we had an angle that was listed as 32.714 degrees, and I want to convert that to degrees, minutes, and seconds. So I have that entered in my calculator, 32.714. What I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take off the 32.714 degrees is going to get converted to minutes. 1 degree is how many minutes in a degree? I heard see them all. There's 60. It's perfect. So the degrees cancel out. We take that 0.714 times 60. Now I can do this all right in the calculator. I subtract off the 32. The 0.714 times 60 is 42.84. So that means I have 42 minutes. I'll take that 0.84 and I have to convert that into seconds. So of course, 1 minute, oops, this should be a single hash here, not double. One minute is 60 seconds. So again, I'm going to take that 0.84, I'm going to subtract off the 42 to get just the 0.84, and I'm going to multiply it by 60 again to get 50.4. You could leave it with one decimal place is sometimes given, allowed on the seconds. Typically, I round it to the nearest second because, like I said, I have never seen a device capable of measuring to the 10th of a second in a degree. So it really doesn't make sense to calculate to a 10th of a second. So there we have it. That 32.714 degrees in decimal degrees converts to 32 degrees, 42 minutes, and 50 seconds. Going the other direction, if I have 51 degrees, 19 minutes, and 49 seconds, and I want to convert that to decimal degrees. Now, when we're going from DMS to decimal degrees, standard is to go 4 decimal places. To make this conversion, we're going to have to work backwards from what we did over here. We start with the seconds, and we divide by 60 to make it minutes. 49 divided by 60 gives us 0.81667. And then I bring down my 19 minutes to go with that. That's 19.81667 minutes now. I'll divide that by 60 to turn it into degrees. So I have, in my calculator, I have to add the 19 minutes that were already there. And I'll take that divided by 60 to turn it into degrees. So I got 0.3303. And I have to add my 51 degrees to that. So 51.330, 51.3303. So, converting that to decimal degrees, 51 degrees, 19 minutes, 49 seconds becomes 51.3303 degrees. Well, today we want to go to the next step. It's doing operations with these angle measurements. if I have 19 degrees, 37 minutes, and 21 seconds, and I'm adding that to 24 degrees, 41 minutes, and 53 seconds. This works just like any other measurement. When we did yards, feet, and inches for our length measurements, this is going to work exactly the same way. We start at the right and we work our way backwards to the left through our numbers. We have 21 seconds plus 53 seconds is 74 seconds. Like any of our other forms of numbers, we look at this and we see this is bigger than a minute. So we're going to have to carry. That would be 1 minute. That minute contains 60 seconds. So 74 minus 60 would be 14 seconds left over. Carry the 1 minute. And now we move over to adding the minutes. So 37 plus 1 is 38. Plus 41 is 79 minutes. Now, once again, that is more than 1 degree. That 1 degree takes out 60 minutes. So 79 minus 60 leaves us with 19 minutes, and we carry the 1 degree. Now, 19 plus 1 is 20, and 20 plus 24 is 44 degrees. 44 degrees, 19 minutes, 14 seconds. I'm going to have you try one in your notes here. "22 degrees, 45 minutes, 19 seconds, plus 13 degrees, 39 minutes, and 45 seconds. I'll give you a minute to work on that, then we'll go over it here in just a second. Well, we start on the right and we work our way back to the left here. We have 19 plus 45, 64 seconds. Now that's bigger than 60, so it's bigger than a minute. So that's 1 minute. We take out those 60 seconds that the minute used, and there's 4 seconds left over. Now we'll carry the 1 minute. Now we have 1 and 44, or 1 and 45 makes 46. 46 and 39 makes, what is that, 70, 85? That is now 85 minutes. That is bigger than a degree. So that's 1 degree, and we take out the 60 minutes that degree used, leaving us with 25 minutes. We carry the 1 degree. 22 plus 1 is 23. plus 13 is 36 degrees. 36 degrees, 25 minutes, 4 seconds. Now, if you are using the degrees, minutes, second function on your calculator, some calculators would struggle with an angle like this. If you were going to enter it, you would have to do 0.4 because it requires 2 digits in that second. So be careful. Noah, if you're going to use those functions on your calculator, be aware of how they work. Play around with them and make sure you know how to enter them in things like that where there's only a single digit. It's especially prevalent if it's the minutes. If it's less than 10 minutes, you have to have that 0 in there. Let's look at subtraction. Something like 42 degrees, 27 minutes, 18 seconds, minus 13 degrees, 38 minutes, 53 seconds. So subtraction, again, works just like any other operation. We will start on the right and work our way back to the left. And we can borrow just like we would with any other measurement. So we start with our 18 minus 53. That cannot be done. So we're going to have to borrow from the 27. That becomes 26 minutes. That 1 minute contains 60 seconds. So 18 plus 60, that becomes 78 seconds. So now 78 minus 53 is 25 seconds. We move over to the minutes. Well, 26 minus 38 cannot be done. So we borrow from the degrees. That is now 41 degrees. And what we borrowed again is 60 minutes in that 1 degree. So this is now 86 minutes instead of 26. 86 minus 38 is 48 minutes. And 41 minus 13 is 28 degrees. Do one more example of that before I turn you loose on them. Let's do 29 degrees, 4 minutes, 41 seconds, minus 8 degrees, 49 minutes, 42 seconds. So again, we start on the right and work our way back to the left here. We start with the seconds. 41 minus 42 can't be done. So we borrow from the minutes. That's going to be 3 minutes now. That gives us 60 more seconds. So this is 101 seconds. 101 minus 42, 59 seconds. Move over to the minutes. 3 minus 49 obviously can't be done. So we borrow from the 29 degrees. It's now 28 degrees. And what we've borrowed, again, that 1 degree is 60 minutes. So this is now 63 minutes. So we have 63 minus 49, which is 14 minutes. We move over to the degrees. 28 minus 8 is 20 degrees. On your notes, I'll have you try 37 degrees, 18 minutes, 36 seconds, minus 12 degrees, 42 minutes, 51 seconds. Give you a minute, then we'll go over that one. So let's take a look here, starting on the right, coming back to the left. 36 minus 51 can't be done, so we're going to borrow from the 18. That'll be 17 minutes now. We borrowed 60 minutes, or 60 seconds. This is now 96 seconds. We subtract there. 96 minus 51 is 45 seconds. Moving over to the minutes. 17 minus 42 can't be done, so we're going to borrow from our degrees. 37 degrees is now 36 degrees. What we borrowed was 1 degree, or 60 minutes, so this is now 77 minutes. 77 minus 42 is 35 minutes. We move over to the degrees. 36 minus 12 is 24 degrees. Any questions there? Well, multiplication works just like our multiplication with feet and inches. We might have something like 11 degrees, 27 minutes, 41 seconds, times 4. Just like any other multiplication or any other measurement, we again start on the right and work our way back to the left. So we do 4 times 41 seconds, that's 164. Get my color switch there. 4 times 41 is 164 seconds. That is more than a minute. It's actually more than 1 minute. There's actually 2 minutes in there. That would be 2 minutes. 2 times 60 would be 120 that gets used up. So we subtract there, we're left with 44 seconds. We carry those 2 minutes. Now we do 4 times 27, which is 108, plus the 2 we carried is 110 minutes. Again, that's more than a degree. 2 degrees would be 120 minutes, so it's not quite 2 degrees. So it's 1 degree. We'll subtract that 60 minutes from that one that we used for the 1 degree. Leaves us with 50 minutes to carry our 1 degree. Now we've got 4 times 11 is 44, plus the 1 we carried is 45 degrees. We'll do another example of that here. Let's say I have 18 degrees, 52 minutes, 39 seconds, and I'm going to go times 3. So I start with 3 times 39 is 117 seconds. Again, that's bigger than a minute, but it's not quite 2 minutes. 2 minutes would be 120 seconds. That's just 1 minute. We take out the 60 seconds that we used for the minute. Leaves us with 57 seconds. We carry the minute. So now we do 3 times 52 minutes is 156 minutes, plus the 1 is 157 minutes. There's more than a degree in there. In fact, 2 degrees would be 120, so there's more than 2. 3 times 60 would be 180. There's not 3 degrees in there. So there's only 2 degrees. 2 times 60 is 120, so we're going to take out the 120 minutes. Did those 2 degrees used up, leaving us with 37 minutes. Then we carry our 2 degrees. Now we have 3 times 18 is 54 degrees, plus the 2 is 56 degrees. I'm going to have you try one in your notes. 13 degrees, 48 minutes. I'll give us a little more space here. 13 degrees, 48 minutes, and 27 seconds times 5. Give you a minute or so to work that out, then we'll go over it. I see most of your heads coming up. Looks like you're mostly done. Let's take a look again. We'll start on the right, working back to the left. 5 times 27 is 135 seconds, which is more than a minute. It's more than 2 minutes. 2 minutes would be 120 seconds. So we'll subtract that 120 seconds, leaving us with 15 seconds. Carry the 2 minutes. Now we have 5 times 48, which is 240 minutes. Plus the 2 that we carried is 242 minutes. Now 60 would be 1 degree. 120 would be 2 degrees. 180 would be 3 degrees. 240 is 4 degrees. 4 times 60 would be 240. So we can actually get 4 degrees out of this. That takes away 240 of those minutes. 242 minus 240, that leaves us only 2 minutes left. I'm going to write it as 0 2 minutes just to fill in that second digit. And now we carry the 4 degrees. Now we have 5 times 13, which is 65, plus the 4 is 69 degrees. It's 69 degrees, 2 minutes, 15 seconds there. Division. Division, remember, is the one operation. We start on the right, or start on the left and work our way to the right, because we're trying to subtract the large bundles of the numbers first. So we might have, let's go 47 degrees, 18 minutes, 56 seconds, and let's divide it by 4. We're going to cut that into 4 equal pieces. Well, we will start with the 47 divided by 4. That's 11 degrees. 11 degrees times 4 would be 44 degrees. We subtract. 47 minus 44 leaves us with 3 degrees left over. Now, just like with our feet and inches, before I can bring down the next unit, in this case the minutes, I have to convert my leftover degrees into minutes. 3 degrees, 3 times 60 would be 180 minutes. Now I can bring down the 18 minutes, combine it with 180, I have 198 minutes. That has to be divided by the 4. So what does that come out to be there? 49, I believe. 49 times 4 is 196 minutes. That looks right. So we subtract 198 minus 196. There's 2 minutes left. Once again, before I can bring down my seconds, I have to convert those remaining minutes into seconds. 2 times 60 makes that 120 seconds. Now I bring down the 56. That makes 176 seconds. 176 divided by 4 actually divides exactly 44 seconds. So that divides out to be 11 degrees, 49 minutes, 44 seconds. So we might have 29 degrees, 53 minutes, and 24 seconds divided by 3. Well, once again, 29 divided by 3 is going to go in there 9 times. 9 degrees times 3 is 27 degrees. So we've used up 27 of those 29 degrees. We subtract. That means there's 2 degrees left over. Before we can bring down the minutes, we convert those 2 degrees into 120 minutes. Now we bring down the 53 minutes with the 120, we have 173 minutes. Divide that by 3, gives us 57 minutes. 57 times 3 is 171 minutes. We subtract 173 minus 171 gives us 2 minutes left over. Before we can bring down the 24 seconds, we convert the 2 minutes into seconds. 2 times 60 is 120 seconds. We bring down the 24 seconds, we have 144 seconds. 144 divided by 3, 38 seconds. So there we have it. 9 degrees, 57 minutes, 48 seconds. The division is the one that most people will struggle with, or most likely to struggle with, I should say. I'm going to have you try one here in your notes. Be patient with yourself. So we're going to have 31 degrees, 42 minutes, 18 seconds, divided by 6. I'll give you a minute to go through that, then we'll go over it. Looks like a couple of you are done and a couple of you are still working, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and take a look, see how you did so far. We have 6 going into 31 degrees. That goes in there 5 times, so that'll be 5 degrees. 5 degrees times 6 is 30 degrees. We subtract, that leaves us with 1 degree left over. Before we bring down the minutes, we turn that 1 degree into 60 minutes. Bring down the 42 minutes, that's 102 minutes. 102 divided by 6 is 17. 17 times 6 is actually exactly 102 minutes, so there's nothing left over there. So we can just bring down the 18 seconds. 18 seconds divided by 6 is just 3 seconds. So 5 degrees, 17 minutes, 3 seconds is what we get there. We look at measuring angles. The device we use to measure an angle is called a protractor. Standard protractor just looks like a half circle. It has a 0 mark on it. Now I'm going to put the 0 mark on the bottom edge of this one here, but for some of them it's up off the bottom edge. You have to understand where that 0 mark is. So wherever that 0 mark is corresponds to 0 degrees on the sides over here. If that mark were up off the bottom edge a little bit, 0 would be right beside it. Wherever that 0 is where we have to line up our angle. So it's important when we're going to measure an angle, we line up one side of the angle with those marks. First of all, the vertex of the angle has to go on that crosshair in the middle, and then one side of the angle has to go on one of the 0 marks or the other. So it goes, let's say it goes on this side over here. The other side of the angle then is up in the protractor itself, in that half circle. And of course that is marked something like this. Now, it'll be marked, 30 and 40, but it would also be marked 140 and 150. How do we know which set of numbers to use? Well, it's actually pretty simple. This angle here is an acute angle. Acute angles are smaller than 180 degrees, or smaller than 90 degrees, I should say. So this angle has to be using the smaller numbers, the 30 and the 40, because it can't be bigger than 90. It can't be a 140 or 150. And then we start with the smaller one and we count up. It looks like this would be 31, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That looks like a 36-degree angle. I'm not going to insult you by going over the protractor. I'm assuming you guys have all used a protractor before and know how to use it. But the piece of equipment that I want to go over is a vernier protractor. Or in industry more often called a universal bevel protractor. And the way this universal bevel protractor or vernier protractor works is it actually has edges that you actually put on the edges of the part and it lines up. And you have your main scale, which is going to be labeled in just degrees. So this might be 30 degrees, 40 degrees, and continuing on. Pretend I can actually draw. And then we have the vernier scale that slides up against that. And let's say we've got 0 degrees right there. That'd be 15 minutes. 30 minutes. And going on up like that. It also would have markings going in this direction as well. How do we know what direction to read this vernier scale? How do we know where to read the main scale? Well, first, we'll start out with the main scale up here. This is the main scale, our degrees up there. Minutes, it looks like I put degrees, but those are minute marks. On the main scale, we read it at the 0 on the vernier scale. So the 0 on the vernier scale is right here. That's between 41 degrees and 42 degrees. So that's saying we go to the smaller one, it's at 41 degrees. Always go to the smaller one when it's between 2 degrees. So we've got that. We've got the 41 degrees off of the main scale. Now, how do we find where to read the vernier scale? Because it goes in 2 directions. Well, we go in the direction of the increasing main scale. The main scale gets larger going in that direction from 40 to 50. So we're going to read the vernier scale going in that direction on the increasing side from 0. And the one that seems to line up here is the 30. That's 41 degrees, 30 minutes. Now notice this bevel protractor is only capable of going down to the nearest 5 minutes. Many of them only go down to the nearest 15 minutes. So it's a matter of getting things lined up and getting as close as you can. They may not line up perfectly, as you might have to take the one that lines up the closest as your minute measurement. There are going to be some of these to practice in your assignment. If we have to, we will go over a few of them in class tomorrow to make sure you've got them down. For right now, I will give you the rest of your assignment. It's in that packet. On page 266. Yesterday, I believe we went up to number 41. So today we'll go 43 through 75. The odd. And then also on page 275, looking at reading those protractors and bevel protractors, I'm going to have you do all of those 1 through 16. So that is it for our new material today. I'll let you guys have the last 10 minutes here to get started on homework if you wish. I'll be on the network for a while to answer any questions.